from the seed on germination. Monocot seed contains both endosperm and embryo within the same cotyledon. Endosperm endosperm contains nutrients stored in it, and embryo is the most important part of a seed. But there is an exception, which is seen in the seed of orchids. These are non-endospermic, which means that the seed in which the endosperm is fully consumed by the embryo and no endosperm is left thereafter is called as non-endospermic.
Okay, I have one question, then, because currently you are the teacher, so I can ask you a question, right, Iram? I was waiting for this moment. Okay, my question to you to the teacher is that if orchid seeds are non-endosperm, spermic, they don't have the endosperm. So how does the embryo survive the first initial stages of development? Because we know that endosperm give nutrition to the embryo till it cannot photosynthesize on its own. So it's important for the roots to come in and go into the ground and some small leaves to come up. Once the leaves are there, after that you can do photosynthesis. Chlorophyll is there, but which means where does the embryo come from? Directly from the seed without endosperm. So how do they grow? How do they develop? Any idea or anything you can guess as a teacher? So one thing is clear, if they don't have endosperm, they don't need it, right? That's why they don't have it. It's not like, and they are surviving in evolution through last millions of years. So they can do good. Orchids are still there on the planet, though they are very rarely found, but they can be grown and they are there, right? They are also found in their natural habitats, which means they are doing pretty fine without endosperm. But how? How do you think they are doing pretty fine? Isn't it interesting question to ask? Though no one is going to ask, I think in boards or in entrance, they will not ask you the reason. But Aisha is very happy that Iram is in the blind spot now, under the bus. Yay. And remember, Iram volunteered for this. Okay, but all three of you, go back and figure out. I'm giving you a hint. The hint lies in where orchids grow. In their natural habitat, where do orchid plants grow? Just figure that out. Look at different orchids and how do they grow, where do they grow? That will give you an answer, okay? Okay, cool. So continue. Professor Iram.
Okay. So in monocot, the seed coat is membranous. It's not hard, basically. And the seed coat is fused with the fruit wall, example maize or corn. And the endosperm is very bulky, which is the major part.
Yes.
So in the corn seed, the embryo is arranged in the center. Arranged in the center, and you can see the yellow part is the aileron layer. It is the outer covering of the endosperm from the embryo by a proteinaceous layer. This is called as the aileron layer.
Yeah, it's a protein
and beneath
layer.
Protein layer, and beneath that layer is surrounded. Beneath that layer is scutellum. In green, you can see there. So the embryo is very small, present in a groove protected by a shield-shaped cotyledon, which is called as scutellum. Now the rice seed. So the layer in the rice seed, you can see there is a layer in blue. It is the aileron layer, and inside the aileron layer is the endosperm present, and the bottom is the embryo. It is actually present at the corner. Top part is the plumule, which is covered with a sheath called a coleoptile, and the radicle enclosed with a coleorhiza.
So
And
basically, embryo is present in both are monocots, but there are two ways how you can arrange a monocot seed. Because you know that they have only one cotyledon, so some kind of adjustment they have to do. So corn seed follows the center alignment here, kind of architecture. So in the center, put the embryo, put the aileron layer around it, and put the endosperm in between, Rice divides the space into two. The top is for endosperm, the bottom is for embryo. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Continue.
And the four things, coleoptile, plumule, radicle, and coleoriza, constitute the embryo. On the top
Yes.
of the embryo, there is a tissue, you can see in green. It is the scutellum. Over the alluron layer, it is the seed coat fused with the fruit wall.
Yes.
And then there's the structure of dicot seed. It is two. It has two cotyledons. A dicot seed is covered by a seed coat. The seed coat is made up of two layers: Tesla, the outer layer,
Not
and the
Tesla.
inner
Tesla.
Tesla.
Tesla is Elon Musk's company. He might put a copyright on us. We are too poor to pay him. Don't say Tesla. Yes. Tesla. Anyways, yeah, go on.
Tesla. Uh, and the inner layer is tegmen. Every seed at the top has a small opening called hilum on the seed coat through which the developing seed were attached
Okay,
to the fruit.
just one second, Professor Iram. One interesting thing I want to tell about hilum, so hilum, which is a very tiny opening in every seed, structurally or like physiologically, the kind of hilum is the place from where I told you about pea seeds. Pea seeds kind of when we studied placentation. Let me go up. Remember the seeds were attached here to the margin, right?
Yes, sir.
So the attachment, the thing which attaches the seed to the margin, this placentation that happens, it happens through hilum. So in a way, if you compare hilum as a structure to animals, hilum is equivalence of, just write down, it is equivalent of navel in humans, because in humans the belly button, or there's a small depression in the center of the belly called navel, right? Navel was the point where umbilical cord was attached when we were in the embryonic stage inside our mother's womb. Yes or no? Similarly, this hilum is equivalent of navel in humans. Interesting, right? We share something common with the seed as well. That's all. Yes, continue, Hiram.
Yeah, and beneath the hilum, there is a small pore called micropyle. And through this micropyle, the sperm nucleus or the pollen nucleus enters the ovule for fertilization.
Yes.
Then there were a few homework questions. The first was, what is double fertilization? How does it take place in plant? So after fertilization, the pollen grain
Did you
forms a,
figure
yeah,
out what was a double fertilization?
yes.
Okay, very good. So we are first. Okay, we'll come to these three questions at the end when we'll start today's class. Okay. So the three questions were: what is double fertilization in plants? How is endosperm produced? And what is triple fusion? We'll come to that. Let's first finish with the what we studied in the class. Then the last thing was floral formula, I guess. Yes. Tell me.
It is a technical description of a flowering plant. It is a brief scientific description of various morphological features that are used to describe a flowering plant. The
Yes.
first one, BR, which is bracteate. Bracteate flowers are those which have small leaf-like structure at the base of the flower, which is called as pedicel. Pedicle.
Pedicel. The base
Pedicel.
is called
Pedicel.
pedicel, and these small leaf-like structures are called bracts.
Yes. And K stands for calyx, sepals. C stands for corolla. A stands for androecium, stamen. G stands for gynoecium. G and under there is a line which stands for superior ovary, and G
Yes.
over the line again.
G over a line, which means G is superior. Okay. And G under the table or under the line is inferior ovary. Yes. Continue.
P is perianth. Perianth is petal together make up perianth or flower envelope. And number 9 is male sexual structure and female sexual structure. Number 10 is bisexual plant. Number 11th is actinomorphic flowers. It is having radial symmetry. And
Yeah.
number 12 is zygomorphic flowers. It is having bilateral symmetry.
Yes, it's kind of the symbol of a percentage, right? And this is like a plus sign in a circle. Okay. And a circular sign with the arrow pointing upwards is male, and a plus sign with a cross pointing downwards is a female. And if both are present in the same symbol, it's a bisexual plant. Okay, and then we did an example of one such floral formula, which is represented as this, and you told me what this means just by looking at this formula, right? You deciphered all the morphological features without writing long paragraphs. It is just one single formula that tells you everything about this plant. Yes or no? Almost every morphological feature. Yes, so this is where we did end in the last class. Thank you so much, Iram, for this amazing summary. Now let's come to those questions which I asked you to go back and figure out. What was the first question, Iram?
Find out floral formula for different flower family.
Was that the question? No, these questions.
Oh, these questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is double fertilization in plants?
Yes. So write down, everyone. This is not related. Like this is going to help you in class 12th a lot, but because we are studying plants, so I'll just take 10 minutes and make you understand these concepts, because we are studying flowering plants. And this is about flowering plants. So what is double fertilization? Yes. What is it? Iram.
After pollination, the pollen grain forms a tube and enters the ovule via style. And the pollen tube produces two male gametes. One male gamete fuses with the egg, and another male gamete fuses with the polar nuclei. And
Okay.
since the fusion occurs twice, it is called as double fertilization.
Okay. So very good, but incomplete and a little incorrect, because what you explained just now, I would like to see how do you explain then triple fusion. What is triple fusion? Did you figure out for triple fusion as well and endosperm as well? Yes or no?
No, sir, I was unable to find that.
No. Okay. So, but good. So let's build on what Iram just told. So everyone pay attention. Devangi, Aisha, and Iram. Remember I told you that this is the stigma, okay? And on the stigma lands, this is one pollen, and this is another pollen. And let's say this is another pollen. All three are different types of pollens, right? Pollen 1, 2, and 3. Out of these three, only one will be allowed. So let's say this one here is the right pollen, okay? These two are from different species. So only this one will be allowed to make a pollen tube. Is it clear? A pollen tube going inside. So this tube will grow all the way down, going through the style and then entering into the ovary. Make sense? Now let me make a bigger structure of a pollen. So this is a pollen, and pollen on top has these structures. Okay, and this structure is absent and at certain regions. So where they are absent, I'm marking this. So this outer part is made up of a chemical, a biological polymer, one of the toughest polymer in biology, which is non-reactive. Nothing can degrade. Nothing as of now that we know naturally can degrade this, and it is called sporopollenin. Sporopollenin is a chemical, it's a biological polymer which is inert. It does not react, does not get degraded. That is why pollens are very, very robust. They can stay as pollens for even hundreds of years if they are viable. Okay. Fossil pollens have been found in fossil records. Okay. So this does not degrade. So it actually protects the pollen. It's very hard a substance. It is one of the hardest biological polymer found on the planet. So sporopollen is so hard, nothing can degrade it. Now the problem is, if you coat a pollen with something so hard that nothing can degrade it, how will the pollen tube come out? Right? Yes or no? Are you following? Does it make sense to you? Am I audible? Yes, Devang, it makes sense. So for that, at some places, this sporopollen is absent, like these sites 1, 2, 3, 4. At these sites, the sporopollen is absent. And from these sites, easily the pollen tube can come out. Okay, make sense? Problem solved. We just left small gaps, but not big enough so that they can damage the pollen, but big enough so that pollen tube can come out. Okay, it's like when a cricketer or a warrior wears a helmet, it protects the whole head, but there is a space for eyes to see, it has to see also, right? So the eye slits are not big enough that it does not protect the person, but it's big enough so that you can see through it. Just the same concept, you understand? Now in this pollen grain, there are two types of cells. One is a bigger cell, and then another is a slightly smaller cell, which actually kind of, they're both present together. They're mixed together, but they're separate cells. One cell is called vegetative cell, and the other is called generative cell. And just before the pollen grain divides, so Iram said that there are two male nucleus, correct, Iram? This is what you said?
Yes.
You are perfectly correct, because this generative cell divides into two just before the pollen tube formation begins. So now there are two nucleus, 1 and 2. These are the two male nucleus. But remember, there was a vegetative cell as well, right? It will also have its own nucleus. You understand? Do you understand? This is called a vegetative nucleus. So in total, how many nucleus are present in a pollen?
3.
3. 1 vegetative and 2 generative. Now the vegetative nucleus has no other role than to form this tube. This tube is formed from this vegetative cell. So I'm using the same color code. The first nucleus that leads in this tube will be which one? Vegetative nucleus, followed by two male nucleus. Two male nuclei. Do you understand? This is how they move as the tube keeps going in. So these two are male nuclei. Okay, first and second. Do you understand? That's where this is the tiny detail that you missed, Iram. Rest everything was correct. Is it clear?
Yes.
Now these two male nuclei. So this first male nuclei fuses with ovule, and ovule plus male nuclei, and this fusion forms embryo. This is called first fertilization. And simultaneously, this second nuclei fuses with two polar nuclei present in the ovary. So two polar nuclei plus one male nuclei. How many total nuclei are there? Two polar nuclei plus one male nuclei. How many nuclei are there?
3.
3. Yes. So it forms endosperm. Now remember, an embryo is 2n. It has double the number of DNA. It has two copies of the DNA. one is coming from the ovule and one is coming from the male nuclei, and this becomes embryo. It is called diploid. 2n is called diploid. Di means 2, ploid means genome set, genome number. Whereas endosperm, it will be 3n, right? Because 2 polar nuclei brought 1 each, and then 1 copy came from the male. So total 3 sets of DNA. Is it clear, Iram, Devangi?
Yes, sir.
So what will this called? Triploid. Tri means 3, ploid means set of the genome. So embryo is a diploid tissue, endosperm is a triploid tissue. Will you remember that? And because both of these two fertilizations are happening together in the ovary, it is called the double fertilization event. Make sense? In humans or in animals, this does not happen. There's only one sperm that fuses with one ovum and gives rise to one diploid embryo. That's it. In plants, one fertilization happens to give rise to embryo, the other fertilization happens to give rise to endosperm. Embryo is diploid, endosperm is triploid. Clear? Iram, Devangi? I think Aisha just lost internet or something.
So
Clear?
3n means 3 sets of chromosomes.
Yes. 3 sets of chromosomes. One coming from male nucleus, one coming from each of the 2 polar nuclei.
Okay, sir.
Very good. This is double fertilization. Another question was, how is endosperm produced? That I already answered. So in the double fertilization, the second fertilization event give rise to endosperm. So endosperm is produced when 2 polar nuclei fuses with 1 male nuclei, giving rise to a 3n triploid tissue called endosperm. Make sense? Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Third question is, what is triple fusion, right? Now, this event, this second event in the double fertilization process, can you see how many total nuclei are fusing together? Total nuclei fusing together. How many are fusing together to make an endosperm? 2
3.
plus 1, 3. So that's called triple fusion. You understand? So triple fusion is nothing but the second fertilization in the double fertilization event. Because 3 nuclei are fusing together, it's called a triple fusion event. Are these 3 terms clear to you? These 3 questions clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So please draw this, write whatever is you have understood, and this is going to help you a lot when you are going to study reproduction, sexual reproduction in flowering plants in class 12th. So I'm just making a foundation stronger right from here, so you do good later on. Let me know when it's done. And give me 1 minute, I'll be back with some water. Okay, Devangi and Iram?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll be back. Please write, draw this, note this down. I'll be just back in a minute. Okay, done. Iram, Devangi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very well. Now, I want both of you to open NCRT. We are going to do something from the NCRT together. Please open your NCRT. Let me see if I have a digital copy of NCRT. Yes, open NCRT and come to page number 78. Can you see description of some important families written there?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Iram, do you have NCRT with you right now?
Yeah.
If not, I can also present it. Let me see if I can present it. Okay. I think I can. Yes, I can actually, thankfully. Share this. Let me stop share this for some time and share with you the screen. Can you see the screen? Both of you? Devangi and Iram? This is your
Yes, sir.
NCRT, right? Okay. Now, look here. Just can I scribble something here? No. Can you see the cursor? My cursor here on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, yeah, this is for your entrances, your exam. So you have understood the floral formula. Any doubt in the floral formula? Like this is the floral formula. So here you can see this is a pictorial representation. So this is called floral diagram, this part. And this is called floral formula for this diagram. So the diagram also says the same thing which the formula says. Now it's not very convenient to draw diagrams all the time or to remember the diagrams. So you give the characteristic features in terms of the floral formula. So let's first see this. You see in your NCRT, or you can also look at the screen. It says the plus mark. What does it mean by plus? What symmetry?
Actinomorphic.
Actinomorphic means if I cut it in this plane like this, or I cut it like this, or I cut it like this, or I cut it like this, there are more than one planes where it will still hold the symmetry, right? The left side, one side will look exactly like the other side. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this flower has a radial symmetry. What does the second symbol tells you about?
Bisexual plant?
Yes, it is a bisexual flower. Okay, how can you in this diagram verify it?
There is in the center ovary present and beside that stamens.
Yes, and these gray structures 1 2 3 4 5 6 are the stamen, and in the center there is the pistil. So both the organs present, so it's bisexual. Now K stands for K2 plus 2. What does it mean? I'll go to Devangi, what does K2 plus 2 means?
So it means there are total 4 sepals.
Is K for sepals?
Calyx.
Yes, yeah, but calyx is sepals, right? So no need to change your answer. You could just say yes. I'm just testing your confidence. So if I asked, is K stands for sepals?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So how many sepals are there total?
4.
And where can we see these 4 sepals? Where are these 4 sepals?
So
Is
the outermost green layer.
this one where my cursor is hovering?
Yes, sir.
Or these are the 4 sepals? Think carefully.
So these are petals.
These are petals. And how can you
Yes,
say that these are petals and these are sepals?
sir, because sepals are the outermost.
Yes, perfect. Sepals are the outermost layer, the outermost wall. So we make it on the outermost as well. Do you understand? Those in this diagram, sepals seems to be bigger than petals, right?
Yes, sir.
But you don't have to get confused. Petals are bigger than sepals normally in every flower. Yes, Iram, am I correct?
Yes.
But this is not the exact representation by size. It is the floral diagram. So these are the sepals. What do we mean by 2 plus 2? Why it is 2 plus 2 written? Why is it not 4 written or 3 plus 1 written or 1 plus 3 written? Why it is 2.2? Can you explain it looking at this sepals diagram? Any hint, Iram, Devangi? See, if you understand this part is done and the chapter ends today. What does 2 plus 2 denotes? Look at the diagram and tell me. Are all the sepals arranged in the same plane, in the same line? Think. Doesn't it look like that 2 are overlapping the other 2?
Yes, sir.
Which one? Which 2 are overlapping which 2? You can use words like top, right, top, bottom, left, right.
So top and bottom
Top and bottom what? Complete the
are
sentence.
overlapping the left and right sepals.
Iram, is Devangi correct? Or would you like to add to this statement? Iram?
Correct.
Correct, right? So we can clearly see that these 2, top and bottom, you see there is a overlapping. So it looks like that the left and right is slightly towards the inside and the top and bottom are slightly towards the outer side, right? Though in the overlapping, and the overlapping is obviously visible. So that's why this 2 plus 2 arrangement is mentioned. Okay, the sepals are arranged as 2 plus 2 arrangement. But with C, what does C denotes, Iram?
Corolla.
Corolla or the sepals, right? Sorry, petals, right? And it's written C4. Can you say why? Because all the 4 petals are at the same plane, no overlapping, no touching, no vexillary or volvate, nothing. Simple. What is this known as? Where they are just at the same plane and no overlapping is there. What kind of estivation is this? Go back and tell me. What kind of estivation is this? Where all the 4 petals are just present adjacent to each other with no overlapping.
Velvet.
Wait.
Velvet. So it tells you that C4, this single number 4 tells you that the arrangement is uniform, and uniform arrangement is present in velvet. So the estivation is also velvet. You can also get to know of the velvet estivation just by looking at this number. In this case, 2 plus 2, what kind of uh, arrangement is this? It's kind of imbricate. Remember, if it was in one direction, that this was on top of this, then this was on top of this, and then this was on top of this. Then if it was in a directional manner, in a clockwise or anti-clockwise, the estivation of sepals would have been what do you call, twisted. But here it's random, so it's called imbricate. So the K sepals are imbricate. C, one single number 4, they are volvate. Next, let's come to A. A stands for androecium, right, Devangi? So what does 2 plus 1 means? Sorry, 2 plus 4 means? Total 6. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But what is 2 plus 4 means? There are 6 stamens, and they have written is at 2 plus 4. Look at the diagram and tell me anything you can understand. You can also look in your own books, no issues.
Sir, I think the left and right stamen are making one whole. So it is
Stamen itself is making one whole. It's not about whole anymore. Stamen is the third layer, the third whole. That's true. But in the stamen, did I tell you about bundles? If all the stamens are present in one bundle or two bundle, right?
Polydel.
Yes, polyadelphous or diadelphous. Here it's di, not poly. Do you understand? There are two bundles. Does it make sense to you, Iram? So these two are arranged very different from these 4. So these 4 are arranged similarly, but these 2 are arranged differently. So they have shown in a diagram that they are arranged differently. That's why 2 plus 4. Is it clear, Iram and Devangi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Last, G. G is for gynoecium, the female part. Now, would you like to tell Iram what is happening here? G is over a underscore and written 2. What does this mean?
It is a superior ovary.
Okay. And what does 2 means?
Yeah. There are 2 gynoecium present.
There are 2 ovaries and both are superior. And by what do we mean by superior? What do we mean by a superior ovary? I told you in the last class, you have written also. Go back to your notes and tell me. Devangi, you can also tell if you found out first.
Sir, it means that the ovary is attached at the top of the thalamus and it is present above all the other floral parts.
Yes, you can say it is its attachment point is higher than other floral parts. That's it. Not at the top of thalamus. That's also correct. That's not incorrect. But say that the attachment point of ovary is higher than the other floral parts. That's where it becomes a superior ovary. Do you understand, Iram? Clear? Remembered?
Yes.
Very good. And there are 2 ovaries, right? So it's by ovarian or it's called, if there is only one ovary, it's called monocarpellary. Mono means single, carpel means pistil, that female structure, gynoecium. So this is bicarpellary flower. So write down in your books, just circle this and write down with a pencil bicarpellary flower. So this flower is bicarpellary. There are 2 carpels. Okay. Everything is clear about floral formula? Shall I move forward?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, now let's come to this exercise 5.9. So there are how many? Fabaceae, Solanaceae, and Liliaceae. Three families are given in your NCRT. 2 or 3 more, I will tell you. I'll give you notes for that, handouts for that, the same floral formula handouts in the groups probably, okay, in the WhatsApp group, which have been asked in NCR in entrances, in NEET. Those 3 are Leguminaceae, legume family, Rosaceae, and Malvaceae. These 3. So Solanaceae, Fabaceae, and Liliaceae, which means lily family, Solanum family of flowers, and Fabaceae is your legumes. So yes.
So Fabaceae and Liliaceae is deleted for us.
From your boards it is deleted, or for your school
Yeah,
examination?
it's deleted from both.
But it will still come in the entrance. If you are planning to give entrance to become doctors, you have to study this. So things which are deleted from boards are not deleted from NEET syllabus. Do you understand? That's the point. So we still have to do it. Okay, are you okay with it?
Yeah.
I hope you both are not just studying for boards, right? Devangi, what about you? I will cover everything. Okay, Devangi. Okay, very good. I got a thumbs up. Now let's do it as an exercise. What you have to do is you have to read the vegetative characters, then read the floral characters. Now it depends on your honesty first. Okay, do not read the floral formula. If you have a pencil or anything in front of you, just keep it on the floral formula of your book. I just want to see, and you have to see how much you understood. Okay, so I will also not project it in front of you, the floral formula. I'm just projecting this floral characters. Okay, you also just hide it and read the floral characters and the vegetative characters and try to write a formula of for yourself. Do you understand the exercise? We are first doing it for Fabaceae. And some important things about Fabaceae is written. The Fabaceae family was earlier named as Papilionidea family. Good that they changed the name. I'm very happy. It's called Fabaceae now. Much easier to say. So whatever it is, this PP family was not a good name according to me, but this is the same family renamed as Fabaceae. Very good. It is a subfamily of Leguminosae, like legumes plant. Have you heard of the term faba beans? Faba beans. So it's bean family basically, kind of. Okay. It is distributed all over the world, and these are the characters. Okay. You can see this everything. And one example of Fabaceae is pea. Pea is like a bean, right? Like it's like, it's not a pulse, but it's like a bean, more of like a bean. So please do read and let me know when you're done. So don't let me know. It's 52. So I'm giving you exact 4 minutes to read and write the floral formula for yourself. Okay. Okay. Iram and Devangi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So do it and read and let me know if you do not understand any single word. I have explained you all of this. Everything has been explained. Just read the floral as well as the plant's morphological characters and come up with the floral formula. Whatever you can come up, do not cheat. It's totally based on your honesty. So your time starts now. Do it for Fabaceae. Let me know when you're done, okay? Devangi and Iram. Okay, done, Devangi and Iram. Did you try on your own?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's do it together and see whether your answer matches, whether this purpose of exercise has fulfilled or not. So what are we doing? Which family we are doing first? Fabaceae, right? Now, the overall general rule to write a floral formula is, we talk about some things general about the flower. What can we say about flower in general? We can say about its symmetry, whether it's actinomorphic or zygomorphic first. Then about its sexuality, whether it's a bisexual flower or a monosexual flower. These two features will decide what next to tell. Now next is simple, go through the outer to the inner wall, inner layer. What is the outermost layer? Calyx, sepals, right? And the alphabet that stands for that formula is K. Then second layer is corolla, petals. Then third layer is androecium and the fourth layer is gynoecium. So we will just follow this sequence for Fabaceae. Now you will tell me what will be the formula be like. First, let's talk about its symmetry. So you just studied the floral characters. Tell me what kind of flower it is, actinomorphic or zygomorphic? Fabaceae.
Zygomorphic.
So what will be the symbol? Plus in a circle, percentage. Okay. So this, right? Zygomorphic.
Yes, sir.
Now let's come to sexuality. What kind of flower it is? Bisexual or monosexual?
Bisexual.
Bisexual. So we shall write this, right? We should make this symbol, correct? Anything else that we can talk about this flower in terms of floral thing? Does it have a perianth? No. So we cannot write about the perianth, the P part. But so let's go to directly the whole. Okay, because these three things apart from the four layers are to be talked about: the perianth, the symmetry, and the sexuality. Now let's come to the first wall, which is K. So K is present, of course it must be present, it's a flower. But what is K? What is the calyx? How many sepals are there in floral characters you studied?
5.
5. But what should I write? Just 5 or 1 plus 2 plus 2 or 3 plus 2? How should I write that 5? That comes with, what did you read apart from 5 sepals? Is it gamosepalous or polysepalous?
Palvate, so there won't be any overlapping. So just 5 you will.
Yes, and also the word written is gamosepalous. Do you see gamosepalous? All the sepals are joined together and they are valvate, sorry, right? So there is no as such thing. So I can write K5. I don't know if it's right or wrong. We'll check it. We'll verify it later on. But K5 I'm writing. Now let's come to the second layer, C. Yes, Devangi.
So gamosepalous means that the sepals are joined.
Yes, gamosepalous and polysepalous. Gamo means if there are 5, they're all 5 connected at the base. They're all joined at the base. So if you try to tear one sepal, the others will also try to come with it. Same happens for petals. Sometimes the petals are also connected together, like in a lily flower.
Yes, sir.
But in a rose, all the petals are separate. You can just pluck one petal. People do this, right? Odd, even, yes, no, yes, no. You can just pluck one petal at a time. You can also do the same for marigold, right? Or for sunflower. You understand? But you cannot do it for a lily or a bellflower. You understand what I'm saying, Devangi?
Rose as well, right?
Sorry, Iram?
Rose.
Roses?
We can do it for rose as well, no?
Yes, we can do it for rose as well. So let's come to the second layer, C, which is sepals. How many sepals are there? Corolla? 5. So mostly, how do I know is if there are 5 sepals, there are 5 petals as well, mostly in most of the flowers. So there must be 5 petals. Just check with your NCERT, right? I've stopped the screen sharing of the NCERT, but you keep that thing in front of you. Tell me, are there 5 sepals?
Yes, sir.
And what are they? Polypetalous or gamopetalous? Polypetalous, which means all the 5 petals are separate from each other. They are not joined together. When they are not joined together, now what kind of estivation they can go in? Remember, there must be a vexillary. You know, is it written vexillary estivation?
Yes, sir.
So if it is vexillary, then we have to write it as 1 plus 2 plus 2, right? And this last 2 will be in a bracket because it's the outermost top. These 2 are joined as it, right? We'll check later on. So first, second layer, third layer is androecium. What about androecium? How many androecium, how many stamens are there?
10.
10.
10. It's written 10. Okay, so should I write just 10? If is it monoadelphous or diadelphous or polyadelphous? If it is monoadelphous, we'll write 10. If it is diadelphous, then we'll write mostly it's 9 plus 1 for flowers or 8 plus 2. If it is polyadelphous, then it will be written there. So tell me, check the floral character and tell me, mono, di or poly?
Die.
Diadelphous. So it probably will be 9 plus 1, total 10, right? No, sorry. Now we will not write like this. We will write 9 in the bracket because these 9 are together, joined together. Here these two were joined together. That's why I put it in the bracket. So these 9 are joined together plus 1 is free. Now let's come to ovary. Gynoecium. I write a G. So is it first superior or inferior?
So, one
Yes.
thing.
Tell me. Yes. Hiram.
Endoecium, there is also written anther diathecus. What is that?
Yes. So remember I told you that anther, every lobe is diathecus, bilobed and diathecus, right? So if it is written anther is diathecus, it simply means that there is only one lobe and there are two theca. If it is written anther tetrathecus, which means there are two lobes, each containing two theca. Okay. So it is a monolobed and a diathecus anther. Makes sense to you?
Yes.
Does that answer your question? Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's come to G. Tell me, superior ovary or inferior ovary?
Superior.
Superior. So should I write like this or yahan pe? Where? This is
Bottom.
correct, right? Bottom. Yes. And how many ovaries are there? Which means it is monocarpillary, bicarpillary, tricarpillary, tetracarpillary.
Monocarpillary.
Which means only one is written here. So I think this is the complete floral formula. Now can you check if we are correct or we have to make some adjustments? Have we missed something? Check for Fabaceae, people. Is this the floral formula for Fabaceae?
Yes, sir.
Yes, like no issues with, even check the brackets. Here it should be at 2 because in this one vexillary estivation, these two are joined, these two are free, and these are joint, these 9 are joint. So brackets tell you about the joints. Everything is correct? Or I should also look. Okay, you do it. It's tedious for me to keep changing screens.
Sir, it's
Hiram,
correct.
correct? Woohoo, very good. We did it. Was it difficult? Difficult or easy?
Sir, mine was a bit different.
What mistake did you make? Tell me. So let's learn from your mistakes. Where did you tell me, you did the mistake in actinomorphic or zygomorphic or where? If your was arranged differently, it's fine. The formula is still correct. But I told you that first, let's talk about the, what do we say? Symmetry. Okay. Then let's talk about sexuality of the flower. And then from 1 to 4, the layer in order. Simple. So what was your mistake, Devangi?
Sir, first of all, I wrote bisexual before the symmetry.
It's fine. It's not a mistake. You just didn't know the sequence. Now you know, right? But you still wrote bisexual and you still used a percentage sign?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. No problem at all. And then what was the other mistake?
Sir, I didn't use the bracket.
Correct. So now do you understand what does brackets denote? Brackets denote the joint. So if we know that androecium is diadelphous, so it must be two bundles present. One bundle will have 9 together joined and one will be free. So 9 will put in bracket. Same in case of vexillary estivation. We know that vexillary looks like this. So there is one petal, then there are, sorry, not like this. How does vexillary look like? How did I forget vexillary? How to draw it? So let me try again. So vexillary look like, so there is one petal which is joined like this. Then on top of it, there are 1 and 2 petals. So this is one single petal which is free. This is 1 and 1 free, not connected to each other. But the last 2 petals will be like connected here. 1 connected at this point. So these 2 are connected. This is what vexillary estivation looks like. So that's why I have put these 2 in bracket. In case of sepals, it's written gamosepalous. Gamo means they are all connected together. So I put a bracket in front of 5. Do you understand, Devangi and Iram, the intricacies, details?
Yes, sir.
Any other mistake you did, Devangi, apart from putting brackets and the order of sexuality and symmetry?
Sir, I didn't know diadelphus, so I wrote A10.
Okay, so now you know diadelphus and monoadelphus. Mono means single bundle. Diadelphus means 2 bundles.
Yes, sir.
Triadelphus is 3 bundles, and polyadelphus means more than 2 bundles. So triadelphus also is a kind of polyadelphus. Iram, what about you? How was your formula, floral formula like? Same,
Well, I
different?
did exactly same. Just there was some mistake in numbering. Corolla.
Corolla C. So numbering. So you, what did you write? 2 plus 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2, or something like that?
3 plus 2.
3 plus 2. By the way, there is no estivation like 3 plus 2. Is it any estivation 3 plus 2? Or no? Okay. Okay, cool. 2 plus 2 is still makes sense. But if there are 5, just let me give you a quick shorthand. If there are 5 petals and 5 sepals, the chances that the petal will have a vexillary or a imbricate is more in general. You know, the kind of flowers they ask you in exams, you will understand it. So what I will do is on the group, I will send you a combined chart of floral formula of all the families that have been asked in NEET over the years. That will help, right? So you just go through it and figure out what kind of corollas have been asked. But rest everything was correct for you, Iram?
Yeah, and Andosium also. I wrote 10, A10.
A10. So you didn't pay attention to the diadelphus thing, right?
Yeah, rest all were correct.
Okay, okay, cool. So let's do one more thing then to make you learn something. Let's go to Solanaceae family now. You have to do the same exercise. Now this time you know certain things, so I am expecting something correct. So it has to be on spot. Solanaceae. Solanaceae is basically, let me tell you about it. You can open your NCRTs. Just again, cover the floral formula part. Don't look at it. And yes, before going there, in your NCRT, there must be economic importance of every family. That is what is asked in boards often. If any family is deleted from boards, don't worry about economic importance, but economic importance I've seen asked in boards. Okay, it can also be asked in entrance, but entrance is mostly focused on floral formula. But you should know the economic importance of. So above was the bean family or the pulses family. Solanaceae is known as potato family. Okay, it's called potato family because the kind of plants which are there is of course tomato, brinjal, potato, chili, and I think what else? Tobacco, petunia, all these type of things, plants. I'm not sure about petunia, but tobacco, potato, uh, uh, tomato, brinjal, they are there for sure. Chili is also there for sure. So Solanaceae. Now do the same thing for Solanaceae quickly. Just hide the floral formula, read all the characteristics and try to develop your own floral formula. Now you also know the order. Doing that, Devangi and Iram? Your time starts now. 4 minutes. Say yes when you start or a thumbs up. Doing or not?
Yes.
Very good. Chalo. Do it and let me know when you're done. This time do let me know when you're done. Okay, done?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, what is epipetalous?
Epipetalous. Yes, Iram will tell you what is epipetalous.
Um, so in epipetalous, the filament is attached to the petals.
Hey, what is filament? Iram gives crash course. She's a crash course professor. So filament is, so stamen has two parts, anther and filament. Do you understand, Devangi? Anther has
Yes,
pollen
sir.
grains and there is a filament. So she means to say, what do you mean to say, Iram? Now tell. Iram, are you
Yes,
here?
sir. Yeah.
Yes, now tell.
What is filament?
Yes, filament I told, Devangi. So now you tell what is epipetalous.
So in epipetalous, the anther is attached to the petals.
Filament is attached to the petals.
Filament.
Okay, if the filament of the stamen is attached to the petals directly, it's called epipetalous. If it is attached to the sepals directly, it is called episepalous. Okay, and there is a way to denote it, which I will teach you. It's not very hardcore thing, but you will not lose marks over it, but you should just know. So I hope that you have done the formula. Let's try to make the formula for ourselves for solanaceae. Let's see how it goes. So first, symmetry, actinomorphic, zygomorphic. Iram and Devangi?
Actinomorphic.
Is it actinomorphic?
Yes.
So what is the symbol? Plus in a circle or percentage?
Plus in a
Plus
circle.
Plus in a circle. Okay. So let's say this. Okay. Then sexuality.
Bisexual.
Okay. Then I think it's simple like this. Then let's start with perianth. Again, it does not have. So let's start with K, which means calyx. What is the calyx like? How many sepals?
5.
5. And is it gamosepalous or polysepalous? Gamosepalous means united together, and polysepalous means free. So is it gamosepalous or polysepalous? What is it?
Gamosepalous.
Gamosepalous? Devangi? Gamosepalous?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they all are present together, and if they are united together, then of course there is only one thing they can be in a volvate estivation. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because if they are united and they are 5, then they have to be in volvate estivation. There is no other option for that. So this we will write. Now let's come to C, the corolla. How many petals? If this is 5, then I expect this also to be 5. Is it true? How many
Yes.
corolla are there? 5, right? But what kind of estivation is there? Is it also gamopetalous or
Valvate.
polypetalous? Valvate, which means they are all present together as one. But are they polypetalous or gamopetalous? They can still be free. So if it is polypetalous and valvate, we will just write 5 without brackets. But if it is gamopetalous and valvate, then we will make the bracket. Gamo means they are united together, joined. So what is it? Is it united, gamopetalous or polypetalous? What is written? Accordingly, we'll put the bracket or not. What is written for corolla, people?
Sir, it's
Gamopetalous.
united.
Sorry, Devangi? Gamopetalous.
United.
United, yes, which means gamopetalous, right? Gamo means united together. Gamopetalous, joint. Polypetalous, free and multiple. So if it is united, then we'll put this. Okay, so it looks the same for both. Do you see the change here? It was vexillary, so 1 plus 2 and 2 you are united. But here it's the same. Do you understand the difference
Yes,
between
sir.
Fabaceae and Solanaceae? Can you appreciate the difference? Very good. Now let's come to the third layer, androecium. What is androecium like? How many androecium are there? How many stamens are there?
5.
5. Any specific monodelphous, diadelphous?
Epipetalous.
Epipetalous. Okay, good. So if it is written epipetalous, then we will put it as 5, but they will not put a bracket because all of them are free and they are attached to the petal. Which is petal, K or C?
C.
So to represent epipetalous, in normal connotation, people use this, but sometimes they also just use a link. Like you can also just make this. So a line from here to A. If it was if it was epicephalous, then the line will come from K to A. You understand? A bridge. You can also use, instead of a bridge, this thing, C to A. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is how this epicephalous or epipetalous thing is shown. So let me use the most vernacular one. This one, the earliest one. Okay. Now let's come to ovary. What is ovary? And because they are epipetalous, we know that they are, each one is attached to one petal, because petals are also 5. So they will be free. They will not be joined like here. These 9 were joined together. Now G, ovary, superior, inferior, what?
Superior.
Line here. How many? Monocarpillary, bicarpillary?
Bicarpillary. 2.
Okay, so whenever it is more than 1, which is 2, then we also have to look for these two ovaries are free or joined together. So if it is free, nothing will be written. But if it is joined together, there will be a term called syncarpus. Syn means joint. So is it syncarpus or is it just bicarpellary?
Syncarpus.
It is syncarpus. Then you will have to make this thing. Okay. Now let's check it, people.
So, sir,
Check with your, yes.
nothing.
Nothing. Wherever there is anything joining, put a bracket. That's the simple rule. Okay. Now check from NCERT. Are we correct? We together did this, so that's why. Are we correct? I don't want to be wrong alone. Very safe strategy.
Yes, sir, perfectly correct.
We are perfectly correct. Good, great as a team. Very good. So any other? So what was your Devangi and Iram? What were your fluor formula? Just like this or some changes? Did you make any mistake?
So mine was exactly the same, just the curve line connecting corolline and tissue
Okay,
was not.
because you did not know that. Okay, it's fine. I give you for that. So now you understand if it is gamosepalous, then it comes from sepal K to A. If it is gamopetalous, sorry, episepalous K to A, epipetalous C to A. Simple. You can use this one curve or a bracket. Nothing. Just joining together. Okay. Devangi, what about you?
Yes, sir, same without the arc.
But rest of the things were exactly the same.
Yes, sir.
Amazing, amazing, great. So that gives me the motivation to also go for the third family. Yes, claps, claps, claps. So let's also go for the third family, which is Liliaceae. Let me tell you, Liliaceae will be slightly different. So it will also give you a flavor that you have whatever you have learned. So be a little careful. Same rule. What is so okay? We have just 4-5 minutes left in the class. So I'll give you 3 minutes. In the last 2 minutes, we will solve it. So 3 minutes. Okay. Are you doing the third thing from the NCERT? Same rules. Okay. Time starts now.
Sir, till then, could you please text me your number?
Yes, I will. I'll put it in the chat to both of you. Okay. Yeah. Do this. Yes. Devangi
Sir,
and Iram.
locular,
Yes. Sorry.
locular,
Locular ovary. Trilocular ovary, right? Tri means three, locular means three chambered ovary. That's all. But you must have encountered many words which are different from the above two families, right? So did you manage to write any formula?
yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So let's go and see how it works. So this time I will also read with you the characters. So first thing that I know about Liliaceae is that Liliaceae has perianth. The perianth comes in, right? You must, is there a perianth given?
Yes, sir.
And also the flower has cymose inflorescence. Not all, but some flowers has cymose. So is it written cymose inflorescence? And it has bract. You understand? The bracts come in the picture. What were bracts? Remember what were bracts? They were small leaf-like clusters at the base near the pedicel. Yes or no? So there must be something written as bracts or something like umbellate clusters. Is it written in your inflorescence? How the
Yes.
flower is like? Yes. So if it is cymose umbellate clusters, which means now we have to, before going for symmetry and sexuality, we also have to write that it has bracts. And then going for symmetry, actinomorphic or zygomorphic?
Actinomorphic.
So which means this, then sexuality,
Bisexual.
bisexual, which means this. Now, when the bracts come in and it's inflorescence, it's not properly like I say one single standalone the flower. They always come in bulk together. So when the perianth comes in Liliaceae, what was perianth? Can anyone tell me the definition? Devangi or Iram, what was a perianth?
Petals together make up perianth.
No, not petals. Sepals plus petals joint is perianth, right? Sepals and petals together makes perianth. Remember, Divyangi, Iram?
Yes,
Not
sir.
just petals. Yes. So now instead of writing K and C differently because it has perianth, what is written? So there must be a word used, not petal, not sepal. There is another word used, something like that. What is the word used for perianth? What is the word used here in perianth? Please tell me.
Tepal.
Tepals.
Tepal, yes, tepal. Tepal means neither a petal nor a sepal. It's joint into a perianth, one single perianth. So tepal. And how many tepals are there?
6.
So I will, for perianth, what is the symbol? P. So now K and C are gone. P has come up because this is combined K and C. And there are 6. So these 6 are
3
present
plus
together.
in the form of 3
3.
plus. Yeah.
Yes. So they must have written 3 plus 3, right? So for perianth, we always write everything in bracket, 3 plus 3, which means total 6 tepals must be there. And the estivation then will be volvate, right? Because there is
Yes.
yes, volvate estivation. And then we come to androecium. What is androecium like? So this I wanted to introduce. Baki is like same. Androecium, how many stamens are there?
6.
6. And are they epipetalous, episepalous, something like that?
Epipetalous.
Yes. Whatever they are in a perianth, it does not make a difference because perianth is sepal plus petal united. So if it is epipetalous, then also it will come like this. If it is episepalous, then also it will come like this. You understand? Simple. And because this is 3 plus 3, so these 6 stamens will automatically, because one stamen will go and bind like attach to one petal, so it will automatically become 3 plus 3. And this time there will not be any, I don't think there will be a bracket, but this will be 3 plus 3. Why did we put bracket here? Because they are joint. Perianth is sepal and petals joined together. Joining is represented by brackets, but this will automatically split into 3 plus 3 because this is 3 plus 3. Okay, we'll check if we are correct or not, but this is what I feel is correct. And then about gynoecium, superior ovary, inferior ovary,
Superior.
superior ovary. So this one, superior ovary. And how many ovaries are there?
3.
Tricarpillary, is it written?
Yes, sir.
Then only it's 3. Okay, 3. And are they joint? Are they syncarpous or just normal?
Syncarpous.
Syncarpous. Someone used the word trilocular. Is it also written? So trilocular simply means that the 3 ovaries each have 3 chambers in each ovary, which means there will be multiple ovules, which means these fruits will have multiple seeds, many seeds. Okay, but we don't have to worry about the seeds. So I think this is the formula. Can you check and see if we are wrong anywhere? Any detail that we have missed?
So I have a question.
Yes, you know.
So is epipetalous also called as epitepalous?
In this case, it will be epitepalous. Yes, because there is no concept of petal or sepal different, right? So if you have introduced perianth, if a flower has perianth, which means the sepal and petal have joined together. So after that, you say episepalous, it means the same thing. It will come from P to A. You say epipetalous, it also means the same thing. Or you say epitepalous. Tepal is a different word which is used in case of perianth to distinguish between sepal and petal. Tepal does not mean anything in its own. You know, petal means petals and sepal means sepal, but tepal means perianth. You understand? Tiger and lion crossbreed means liger, right? Lion and tiger crossbreed is called liger. You know that? It's the same. It's a crossbreed word. They have made to just specify. So what is written in the books? Is it written epitepalous, which is also correct?
Epitepalous.
Yeah, right. Even if it was written epipetalous, was not wrong because the petals are anyways in the perianth only, so it's fine. But is this correct? Have we missed anything?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay.
Sir?
Every symbol. Yes. Yes.
Sir, I think there's a misprint in my book. There is not, G is not underlined.
G is not underlined. So in Liliaceae, then the ovary must not be superior. Is it written that it has a superior ovary?
Sir,
I think
it's
in lily it is
written,
superior ovary. As far
it
as I
is
can
superior.
remember, lilies have superior ovary. You know, onion is a lily. To be, yeah, it's funny, but onion is a lily. So when you are gifting lily flowers to someone you like, love, you can just say that, you know, onion is also a lily biologically. So I'm gifting you onions, you know, I'm just gifting you a lily. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Don't do this. If you do that, don't tell that I encourage this, but but this is being recorded. Anyways, great. I got caught red-handed. But if it is, is it written superior in NCERT? Right. It must be superior. So if it is superior, then there has to be this line. If there is no line in NCERT, then it's a misprint. Okay, Devangi?
Okay, sir.
Iram, is there a line in your book? Below the G? No? Then it's a misprint in both of your books. Okay. If it's superior, it has to be over a line. Okay. So I hope both of you understood the floral formula, and I think with this we end the chapter. Please read the NCERT, especially the economic importances and other things. And in the next class, I'll start with the next chapter. And before that, on the group, I'll send you some more families, floral formulas. And your homework will be, when I will send those floral formulas, you have to deduce just the opposite. You have to tell me the floral characters of those families. Okay. Here we did the opposite. There you have to do the opposite. Okay. Chalo, cool. So I'll see you in the next class on Wednesday. Bye-bye. Take care. Good night.
Sir?
So at the
Yes,
starting,
Sorry. Come again.
so at the starting of the class, you asked me a question related to orchids, right? Could you
Yes,
just repeat the question?
Yes, the question was orchids do not have endosperm in their seeds. So how do they grow and develop during the initial stages? Because that is where the embryo uses the endosperm to become the seedling till the first leaves come. So how do orchid plants survive the initial phase? Once they grow leaves, it is obvious they do photosynthesis, they are plants. But before that, in the initial stage, how do they survive without any endosperm in their seed? Okay, that is the question. And the hint is find where they grow, find about their habitats. That is the hint. Okay. Written, Iram?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll see you in the next class. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Yes, Devangi, you have a question?
So last time you also asked me to find out a false fruit which is a ripened perianth.
Yes, what is it?
I'm not sure, but is it a jackfruit?
Perfect. It is a jackfruit. Yes, it's a jackfruit. Good. Great. Nice.